Welcome, everybody, to the One Stage at a Time podcast, the podcast where we're playing through video games, every single level of a video game, not skipping anything. Today, we are playing through Doom, and we have reached the last level of Episode 3 of Doom, the original final ending to Doom, but not for us. We continue on after this. I am Aaron Neeson. I'm joined by my co-host, Andy Prim.
Hello.
Hello, Andy. And we are joined by Sam Ingersoll. Hello, Sam.
Hello, everyone.
And, gentlemen, let's talk about Doom.
Let's talk about Doom, folks. We have reached the end, the final episode of the original Doom, E3M8, Dis, the ultimate Dis track. Let me hit you with some stats for Dis. So Dis is, like I said, E3M8. The music track for this stage is Facing the Spider by our friend Bobby Prince. It is designed by the Golden God, Sanford Peterson, the real hero of id Software. And there are 0 secrets in this stage. And as for enemies, we've got 2 Cacodemons, 1 Baron of Hell, and a brand new friend who's arrived at the party, the Spider Mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
Fellas, what did we think of Dis?
Short. I mean, it was real quick for me.
Yep.
I died once. So I come out, into the ninja star, I guess you could call it, the shape of the
Yeah.
map. And I see, like, there's a ridge around it with missiles everywhere. And inside, I can see a couple cacodemons far away. And I'm like, okay, this is clearly some evil pit of despair. I wanted to get all these missiles first. So I'm running around. And then way in the corner, I'm like, oh, fuck, it's one of those things. The Spider Mastermind, who I haven't seen in this game yet, but I definitely know them from other Doom games. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, let me go get some more. And then I was dead. This motherfucker just chain guns you or whatever. I don't know what the fuck he does, but he hits you if he even sees you. But then I hopped back in and I killed him. I actually got 75% of enemies killed because I killed him before I killed the Baron of Hell, and and after his animation's done, just boom goes to credits. So I did not 100% this level, unfortunately.
Oh, well, your nerd credit is revoked. Aaron, what about you?
I thought this was a this was an okay level. I don't want to say it was
up there.
Was that?
No, your processor was like freezing there.
Yeah, because I don't want to say this was a bad level, but at the same time, like, it certainly wasn't an impressive level. It had one frightening boss, but that's about it. The boss is kind of cheap, like Sam was saying. He just hits you. He doesn't have. There's no way to dodge it. If you're in his sights, he's going to hit you with his weapon, and that's kind of bullshit. But also, like, and he's imposing, so that's kind of cool. So, like, it's just a very strange level.
Yeah. The Spider Mastermind is a tough enemy. He has a super chain gun, and what that means apparently is that the super chain gun does about 4 times more damage than the player's chain gun does, and it hit scans. So much like the shotgunners, it can hit you. It's not a projectile that you can avoid. Like, for example, the Cyber Demon's rocket launcher. Mm-hmm. If he's facing you and if he fires, it's going to hit you no matter what. So strafing around him is very difficult for that reason. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I kind of agree with you guys. It's a short level. I don't dislike it. I think he's a cool boss. But I thought it would be interesting to compare the Cyber Demon and the Spider Mastermind, the two real bosses in this game. Like, what do you all think? Who's the more intimidating or more satisfying foe to confront?
Well, I found it really interesting because the 2 parts of this boss, how much health they have and how much damage they do, or how much of their damage was a threat, I guess I should say, were complete opposites. Where the Cyber Demon took 1,000,000 years to kill, I did not fear the Cyber Demon because I could just strafe around and miss, I didn't have to worry about getting hit by him at all. On the other hand, when I fought the Spider Mastermind, I had like 500 ammo for the BFG, and it literally took me like 30 seconds to beat the level.
Yeah,
it was just like blam, 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 blam. But if he saw me for more than a second, it was over.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a weird difference. I think I enjoyed the Cyber Demon fight more, mainly because it appealed to my FPF roots of playing Team Fortress 2. And I was using the rocket launcher a lot, so it was a lot of strafe firing and aiming my shots and stuff. This was over before I could even think about it. And I felt like there was not much I could have done to have, like, I couldn't have really changed my strategy on the Spider Mastermind. I feel like just you can't even peek your head up and he just destroys you. I think I only had 40% health too going into this, so it was like extra sketchy for me.
Yeah, that sounds about right. He's tough. There, you can get him to infight with the one Baron of Hell and the two Cacodemons, but that's not very effective because he'll just overpower them pretty quickly with his super chain gun. So I didn't even bother. But you could do that if you wanted to. But let's talk about the design of this this spider. Yeah. We were going to the same place, buddy. The Spider Mastermind looks fucking badass.
I agree.
Absolutely. He's I would say he's the coolest looking enemy and boss in the game.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Giant brain with this Krang looking chompy mouth in the front and just a giant fucking gun where his spider cock should be. Like it's great.
It's like you can imagine him like just shrieking at Shredder that they have to kill the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I like how when you get a good look at his legs, they look just like they took pictures of like a connector set or something.
Yeah.
But I love the look of the on top. He's really cool looking. He's like a crackhead Krang or something.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of, I was getting Mother Brain vibes from Super Metroid, but like you said, more of a crackhead.
Yeah, definitely. It's got a pretty like Metroid Prime, not Prime, Metroid, Super Metroid kind of look to it, like that art style. Yeah.
Like a living sinister brain. Unclear here, like what's going on. Is this like a variety of demon that's been fused with metal? Is it some unholy biological experiment? Who can say? But I think we can. What we know for sure is that it's yet another fucked up design from the brain of Adrian Carmack, our favorite designer.
I wonder if it's kind of like the end of Starship Troopers, the brain bug. Like maybe it's some kind of like, it controls the imps or something, or all the zombies. But they found some more human technology and it could walk around now. So maybe it's some kind of like strategist for hell.
Yeah, and maybe like the brain bug in Starship Troopers, it has like a proboscis that it can like stab into your forehead and like suck your brains out.
Yeah,
that's what I said, proboscis.
I do love the paragraph here at the end. Oh my god, I was laughing my ass off when I read it.
Yeah, Sam, could you give us a dramatic reading of this paragraph at the end?
If you pause it right now, I can. Or when it's done. There we go. The loathsome spider demon that masterminded the invasion of the moon bases and caused so much death has had its ass kicked for all time. A hidden doorway opens and you enter. You've proven you're too tough for hell to contain, and now hell at last plays fair. For you emerge from the door to see the green fields of Earth, home at last. You wonder what's been happening on Earth while you were battling evil unleashed. It's good that no hellspawn could what's the word after that?
Could
have come through that door with you. ... Ass kicked for all time.
For all time.
Gave his ass a thrashing for the ages.
It reminds me of the end of Street Fighter the movie when Jean-Claude Van Damme is like, I'm going to kick Bison's ass so hard that the next Bison wannabe will feel it too.
So many good lines in that movie.
Kicked it so hard that killed the actor.
He killed Raul Julia.
Oh, this cutscene's different from my cutscene. The cutscene for Ultimate Doom it's just the credits of the people who made that version of Doom.
Yeah.
There's a rabbit's head on a spike here in the cutscene.
Okay, so the cutscene we're watching shows a little cute bunny in a green field, and then the camera slowly pans over until you see an Earth city on fire, and another rabbit, or possibly the same rabbit, its head has been spiked on some kind of spike.
Oh, that's supposed to be an Earth city, like
Green Fields.
Cleveland or something.
Yeah, that's Cleveland. Don't you recognize Cleveland?
Yeah, it's got all those real bendy skyscrapers in it.
I thought it was like I thought it was some, I guess it's a tell that it's the green fields of Earth, but I thought it was some sort of hell structure like the temple, and you just came out of there fucking it up or something. But
the rabbits were
no. I think the implication. Yeah, the rabbits are a clue. I think the implication is that you came through this portal back to Earth, and you're like, it's a good thing no hell creatures came with me. Oh wait. Oh no.
Or they could have been invading the whole time you were killing. Like they were going out while you were coming in.
Yeah, that's true. And it would seem to be a prelude to Doom 2, Hell on Earth, where indeed hell has come to Earth and Doom Guy is called upon once again to defeat it. But we're not going to be learning anything about that because we will be proceeding to the apocryphal 4th episode of Doom, Thy Flesh Consumed. And we'll talk more about that in the next episode.
Yeah, but the paragraphs were the same. Those paragraphs were at the end of the one that I'm playing is on Nintendo Switch, and that paragraph was there.
Yeah,
implicating that in Chapter 4, you should be back on Earth.
Yeah, and we'll get to that when we get to Chapter 4 next week. But there's some question as to where we are and what exactly is happening in Chapter 4, which I'm sure we'll dig into and probably won't ever figure out the answer. But anyway, I've said too much. That's for a later discussion.
One thing I really enjoy. I wish I had gotten to see that little pan of the rabbits, but I do like how the rabbits are kind of a nod to the secret level. Warren, it's called Warrens, Rabbit Warrens.
Yeah.
Nice little
Rabbit Warrens.
Tip of the hat there.
I mean, Doom is an adaptation of Watership Down when you think about it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's just Watership Down, the Howling of Hell. Boom, you have Doom.
That's it, baby.
Yeah, it's right there. We've broken the code.
Final thoughts on Dis.
Kind of, I think, other than the Cyber Demon, which was the end of episode 2, right? Was the final boss. I say most of the final bosses have been okay. This is definitely the worst of the 3. Not that it's bad, it's just the least whelming.
Yeah,
I'd say it's kind of a letdown. But I mean, like, this is the first 3D game, so you got to bear that in mind. Like, the enemies themselves and the bosses just couldn't be that complicated this time. No enemy has more than one attack. Like, that's just the limitations of the time and constraints they were under and stuff. So really, like, all you can judge this boss on is kind of the cool factor. Like he looked fucking cool. Like look at that guy. Look at him. He looks fucking cool.
But it's a little frustrating.
A Rector sec with crackhead brain on it. Yeah, hell yeah.
It's a little frustrating that the coolest looking boss you couldn't really get a good look at because it would just kill you if you tried to look at it too long.
Yeah,
he would have made a better second boss, and I think Cyber Demon would have been a better final boss of the game.
Yeah. You can't like fire him. I kind of agree, and the one thing I'll say about him is he's also got a cool death animation, like when he blows up and like all of his metal legs topple over and the brain just kind of pops like an overripe tomato. However, this wasn't exactly the first 3D shooter. We had Wolfenstein 3D before this, where the final boss is Mecha Hitler. So I mean, come on, id Software, Mecha Hitler. They should have just brought him back for this game.
That would have been a hell of a secret boss. Like,
yeah.
Maybe it is Hitler. This is what's happened to him in hell.
They saved Hitler's brain. All right. Well, Dis is a short sage, and we don't honestly have that much to say about it. So I would say that class dismissed.
Oh, damn.
Okay, well, let's go to the lore corner, if you please. Let's talk a little bit about Dis. Aaron is a good Christian boy. Do you know what Dis is?
I have no fucking idea what Dis is.
I will show you what Dis is.
Show me.
Dis is an image of the city of Dis. So, okay, I'll tell you about Dis. Dis actually comes from classical mythology, like Roman and Greek mythology, specifically Roman mythology. So apparently there's an underworld deity called Dis Pater, which means like Father Dis. Dis Pater, Dis Father. And he is apparently the king of hell. He's not the same as Hades or Pluto, although maybe he is. I mean, like with so much of Roman mythology, stuff gets conflated together. And, you know, depending on who you ask, they might be the same thing or maybe not. But anyway, Dis Pater is the king of hell. And in Dante's Inferno, Dante appropriates the idea of Dis. And he calls Lucifer's capital city in hell the city of Dis. So we are looking at an image of the city of Dis that was done by an artist in the 1500s named Strato something. Yeah, I don't have it handy. But anyway, he was a guy who lived in the 1500s, which is about 200 years after the Divine Comedy was written. But anyway, the city of Dis encompasses the innermost part of hell. So, you know, in the Divine Comedy, in the plot of it, Dante meets up with Virgil, the classical philosopher and poet who wrote the Aeneid, and together they go on like a jaunty adventure to hell. And so they travel down through the Inferno, or through Limbo, which we talked about last time, and then they get to the inner circles of hell. They pass through the walls of Dis, and then this is like the like I think the 4th through the 9th circles of hell. So Dante has it sorted out into each circle. Like you go deeper and more inward, and it's like the sins get worse and worse the further in you go. So outside of Dis, or outside the walls of Dis, are the sins of like neglectfulness, like, you know, sloth and gluttony and things like that. And then within the walls are like intentional sins. They're worse because you meant to do it. And the first one up at the top here, these are people who are it's like heresy, so they're heretics. Like they say God doesn't exist and stuff like that. So that's where I'm going, folks. And then you get down here. This one is violent crimes, so killers and murderers and stuff like that. These are probably the more metal ones. You know, there's probably a lot of really tight people down here, like Jim and
Yeah, I want to hang out with the violent criminals. They're the cool ones.
They do the fun crimes.
They're all kung fu fighters, right? Like they're the ones. They definitely aren't people who just stab their lover.
Have you ever seen Mortal Kombat? It's basically that all the time.
Yeah, all the time, right?
Yeah,
it's all Goros and
get over here,
scorpions.
Yeah,
not a lot of Sub-Zeros.
Sub-Zero.
Nah. He wouldn't. He doesn't. He's not a fan of hell.
Probably though, like all the Batman villains would be down here. You know, you get to hang out with the Joker and the Riddler, so that it wouldn't be all bad. All right, you go deeper then. What's worse than violent crime? Fraud. Dante says that fraud is worse than violent crime. So if you steal someone's social security card out of their mailbox and use it to like cash social security checks fraudulently,
you should have cut their head off.
You should have cut their head off.
You should have just fucking murdered them. That would have been
sense.
Better than stealing their social security card.
At the time, I could see how social standing would be, like violating that would be a bigger sin to people back then than someone hurting someone.
Yeah.
I'm sure people died and were sick and, you know, fucking each other over like physically all the time back then. But if you like try to like take someone down that was better than you, no, you're going deep to hell.
Yeah.
We would have hammer that idea into your heads.
Yeah, it's a very like aristocratic or like patrician point of view.
I was about to say it's a way to subdue the proletariat.
Yep. So yeah, let that be a lesson. Do not commit mail fraud. Do not commit credit card fraud. Definitely don't commit fraud on any kind of banking institution, because you will end up in the second lowest circle of hell. But what is the lowest circle of hell, you might ask? That's this teeny tiny one down here.
Who's that guy?
That's for traitors. That's for traitors, folks. So the three worst traitors of all time, according to Dante, are Judas Iscariot, Brutus, and Cassius. So the guy that betrayed Christ And also the two guys that portrayed Julius Caesar.
Just gonna say it. Dante was a hack.
This was just his religious fan fiction.
Yeah. I did want to say that though, Andy. You made me feel like a fool for not knowing anything about this, but none of this is canon Christianity.
That's true. You're right. I was messing with you.
I was like, oh no, I don't know this. And it's a godless heathen these days, but I used to be a good little Catholic boy.
No, you're right. This is all fan fiction. The Divine Comedy was the first and most successful work of fan fiction. It's just biblical fan fiction. And it's weird because it combines Christian mythology with classical mythology. So a lot of this stuff is like the Dis Pater stuff and the stuff with Virgil and, the stuff with Brutus and Cassius. It's all like classical Roman mythology, and Dante was Italian. So, of course he was obsessed with Rome. So they like just mash Roman and Christian mythology all together there. And you end up with this.
Like Neil Gaiman.
But it's kind of tight though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool concept. It's cool to think about, like what it would look like,
Yeah, it's fun to think about, Like I like to think about fun things, like hanging out with violent criminals. All right. So that is Dis. That is the city of Dis. Apparently that's where we are. I mean, on this map here, I don't see the area where we battled the spider cyber demon.
Yeah, I was looking for the Spider Mastermind, but
you know where it's at, guys? It's actually this wall we're right next to. It's right below that. Our perspective is keeping us from seeing it.
There's like just a little spider demon scribbled at the bottom and then an arrow pointing like down below.
Mastermind is what it says.
Arachne Mastermindy.
It's the spider demon.
He has spicy meatball on legs, nah?
He's the spicy mustachole.
Like if you look, that door on the left, that right through there, that's where the arena is. There's missiles everywhere.
Okay. Yeah. That's where it would be. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is that we talked about the Castle of Pandemonium in a previous episode. There's a stage called Pandemonium in episode 3, and that is the capital building of hell, but not in the Divine Comedy. It's in Paradise Lost by John Milton, which was I think a few hundred years after the Divine Comedy, but maybe like took inspiration from it in some respect. But that one's about like Satan's war on heaven and then Lucifer Morningstar and his fall, into hell. And he's basically the main character of it because, as we all know, Lucifer is the hero of classical Christianity.
Damn right. I'm going to repeat sort of what I said last episode. Just like religions have gotten more pussy, their fiction has gotten more pussy too. Because we used to have this cool shit. Dante's Inferno and Paradise Lost, and now we got Left Behind. Like, fucking boring.
Yeah, dude.
Like, suck my dick. That's so boring. Kirk Cameron, get out of here.
What happens? Kirk Cameron. What happens in those things anyway? Like, I think I saw that first movie at one point, but like
the rapture, like, and all the good Christians go away, and it's just the people who are left behind. And
does anything cool happen?
I think the Antichrist is out there walking around, but he's like a politician or something. Like the coolest fan fiction of Christianity to come out recently was written by Seth Rogen.
Which one was that?
What was it called? The End of the World or something? Or no?
The End is Nigh. End is Nigh.
No, it wasn't called End is Nigh. Was it?
Something like that.
This is the end. This is the end.
Yeah.
This is the end where like the rapture happens and people start getting sucked up to heaven. And then like there are demons running around and it's basically Seth Rogen and all his actor friends hiding out in their home and they're playing themselves, versions of themselves. And like outside people are dying, getting eaten by demons. And then like, what's his face? Kenny, what's his face? I can't remember his
Eastbound and Down.
Yeah, Eastbound and Down, that guy.
Oh, Kenny
like
Powers.
Yeah, he gets kicked out of the
that's
house.
Not his name.
I know. I can't remember the actor's name, and I feel terrible because I love him. But,
Danny McBride.
Yeah,
that's it. He gets kicked out of the house and becomes like a Mad Max style like warlord and shit.
Channing Tatum is like his
yeah.
gimp on a leash.
Yeah,
and they're
at
all
the
playing
end of
themselves. They're all playing themselves.
I love Channing Tatum.
Spoilers for This Is the End, but at the end, Satan arrives, and he's like a 200-foot tall monster with a giant dick swinging around.
Fuck yeah!
It's fucking great. You should watch it, Andy. It's it's
right.
Seth Rogen and their comedy. So if you don't like that, then don't watch it. But I thought it was great.
It's
really funny.
It's definitely funny. Another one I would recommend that's more kind of geared. It kind of turns more towards like a classical Spanish, like hardcore, like Catholic Spanish stuff, like mythology. Is a movie. It was on Netflix called The Blacksmith and the Devil, I think, and it's set in right after one of the Spanish Civil Wars. I don't know if there's more than one. There's some fucked up shit was happening, but like it's got like classic like old like wives' tale kind of things about demons, and like they have like the long noses and pointy horns, and and like hell is like straight out of the paintings from back then. Like they throw garbanzo beans on the ground and he has to count them all, and like they have like a holy, like a blessed bell that hurts his ears and stuff. But it's all serious. It's taken seriously, and it's really good. It kind of has like a tiny hint of like Guillermo del Toro, but not really. But another like thing that makes it interesting is that there's a region in Spain that I don't remember the name of that has like a different language than their Spanish. It's like if you're from Spain, you wouldn't really know what people were saying. And their own culture and everything.
I've heard of this. Yeah,
it's the whole set. Yeah. Everyone that made the movie was from that country and in that language and everything like that. But it's like I don't know the foreign language name, but it's like The Blacksmith and the Devil. It's a really interesting movie.
Cool. Well, it sounds like there's still some beautiful heroes making awesome Christian fan fiction today, but unfortunately, they're not mainstream. I mean, like Dante was mainstream, John Milton was mainstream. They were big, important works. But like Aaron said, now we have like Left Behind and all those crappy like straight to DVD, straight to streaming service movies that they make today. That it's all like it's like the God's Not Dead type movies.
Bible Man.
What about you? You guys remember Legion? You guys remember Legion?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I tried to rewatch. Like I knew it was bad when it came out. You guys were making fun of me because I wanted to like it. Like, I knew it's bad. It's a bad movie, and I tried rewatching it like I don't know 2 months ago or something because this is Saturday night. And I had nothing better to do. I saw it was there. Oh man, it's bad.
It's very bad. It's like borderline not even like, fun bad.
There's so much cool. Like it's such a cool concept. Like there's the descendant of Jesus or whatever, a God baby coming out somewhere, and then God's like, go kill that. Go kill it. And so like all these angels come to kill it, and one angel rebels against God. Like that's a fucking kind of cool concept, but it just was such a botched delivery.
Very silly movie.
It was a very silly movie.
Well, we'll always have Preacher.
Hell yeah, we will have Preacher.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is over, and it was kind of a lackluster final level. It was short. The Spider Mastermind was a cool looking boss, but sort of a disappointing enemy to fight.
Yeah.
And so, rather than what was that, Aaron?
I was just going to say, I don't think I mentioned, like, I died to him twice, and then I just decided to run up to his face and shoot him with the BFG, and I did that, and he died in 3 hits. And I was like, wow, that's that.
That is the best way to approach it. Like, you can fuck around with the rocket launcher if you want to, but and if you just loaded this stage fresh, that's all you would have is the rockets. But definitely the optimal strat is just BFG right to the dome. That'll take him out real quick. And in Doom 2016, when you face him, that's what you do to deal the coup de grace, which is pretty fucking sick. It like you like shove it up its mouth and like fire the BFG, and it leaves like a valley through the brain from like all the brain mass is just ripped straight out of it.
It's so cool.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm wanting to play Doom 2016 again, just thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that we've kind of completed that somewhat lackluster final stage, why don't we turn our attention to maybe a bit more of an uplifting topic? It is the Christmas season, fellas. This is our Christmas episode and our final episode of the year 2020, which has been both the longest and shittiest year on record. But there have been several excellent games that have come out this year, and perhaps we've played some older games for the first time this year. So I thought it would be a nice and a cheerful way to wrap up this by going around the table and mentioning what was our favorite game that we each played in 2020. So, Aaron, would you like to start us off?
Well, I don't think this is one that I would have expected to choose. And I'm kind of surprising myself by saying it. It's not a 2020 game, but it's Mario Kart Tour.
Oh, the phone game?
Interesting.
The phone Mario Kart game. Like, I've surprised myself by how much I just play it. It's so convenient just having it in your pocket whenever. Like, you got portable Switch Mario Kart, but you got to go get your Switch, and that doesn't fit in your pocket. You don't carry it around everywhere. Like this one, you can whip it out. You play 2 little races, and it's fun. It's Mario Kart, and then you put it away. And they have like events and stuff. Like the courses change as the seasons change. Like they had Halloween theme, and then now they got Christmas theme, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun, and there's lots to unlock. Like that was my biggest gripe with Mario Kart for the Switch. Mario Kart 8, like you buy it for the Switch and everything's unlocked already. You unlock like nothing. You unlock maybe some carts, but like all the racers are unlocked and everything. So this one you got, you work for it and stuff. And honestly, that's probably been the game that I've gotten the most enjoyment out of in 2020, surprisingly. And it's recent too. Like I haven't had it the whole year. Besides that, probably Witcher 3, because I've really made that stretch too. Like I'm still playing that one. And it's fun as hell.
I would not have expected you to say a gacha game for your favorite game of 2020, but
there it is.
I haven't played it, so I guess I can't speak to it. Interesting. So Mario Kart Pocket Tour, whatever the fuck it's called, on the go. Aaron's favorite game of 2020. Sam, what about you? What's been your favorite game this year?
Well, it depends on what metric you use. So I felt like the non-specific, I kind of have like a nebulous answer, which was just fighting games in general. Like I finally kind of got into fighting games and enjoyed doing that this year. But I wanted to be more specific, so I went to my Steam list and looked at this year's games and how many hours I had played. And there's a clear winner, and it's Slay the Spire. I don't know if you guys know that game or not.
Yeah, I've played a little Slay the Spire.
Very good game. A very good roguelite card builder kind of game where you're going up through a tower, or is it down? I can't remember. I think up. You're going up.
Up.
Different classes, different random cards that you get, and you can kind of build your deck as you go through. I think I played almost 100 hours in it this year, but I haven't played it in a while. So if I had kept playing it, I probably would have had quite a bit. It is 94 hours. I bought it in January 1st of this year, but I had it technically illegally for longer than that. And I played a lot in that as well.
Well, we don't support piracy, so I'm glad that you purchased a legitimate copy.
But yeah, it was my gaming stuff was all over the place this year. I had a real tough time. I don't think there was any game that came out this year that I would be anywhere close to like my favorite game. I don't think there was anything that I was waiting for. I was kind of trying to look through and find stuff. Most stuff came out like last year or so. Near the end of this year, I've really been enjoying, as you guys probably have figured out, Monster Hunter again. And I'm looking forward to Monster Hunter Rise next year. But I would say maybe a splash of Yakuza 0, but I didn't beat it. So it's kind of hard to say. All over the place, really.
Remind me after we're done with this segment to ask you about the Monster Hunter movie and your thoughts on that.
I haven't seen it yet.
So. No, there's only trailer out. I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about it later. Sorry to interrupt.
Mm-hmm. But that's it. That's really, I think finally diving in to start learning fighting games, and then apparently, according to Steam, Slay the Spire.
All right.
Nice.
Well, I've played a little bit of Slay the Spire, but my brain doesn't. I don't know, something about roguelites and me just it's not really my thing. Also it's hard and I get mad because bad and rage quit. But I'll tell you, my favorite game of 2020 was Paper Mario and the Origami King. It didn't take me too long to come to that conclusion. Just immediately jumped out to me. I had like a big grin on my face almost the entire time I was playing that game. Everything about it was just so fun and so satisfying. All the environments were very beautiful and colorful to explore. It reminded me of like just everything that I enjoy about video games, like a colorful environment, lots of secrets kind of tucked away everywhere, fun characters. There's not a deep story, but there's a narrative with like some twists and turns. There's lots of exploration. There's like a new fun surprise around every corner. There's lots of dumb things like, they'll do like a ballet interlude, or, they'll stop suddenly so that a giant tree can break it down with like a funky solo. And, just like lots of fun side characters. There's like a Bob-omb that joins your party, and, no spoilers, but like, a lot of these characters have like really touching and even like tragic story arcs where at the end you're like, no, why? Lots of fun stuff with like all your favorite Mario characters too. Like Bowser joins your party at one point, but he's been folded up and stapled, so he's just like a little like bit of paper that's like hobbling along. And until you finally manage to like unstaple him and he can like unfold into his true glory. But he's following you around, cracking one-liners. There's all kinds of dumb paper jokes, like Bowser Jr. is in your party, but he gets like cut up and crinkled, so you have to find a way to like tape him back together and then like flatten him out so he's not crinkled anymore. And yeah, all in all, I mean, it's not like an amazing game. It's not Cyberpunk 2070 whatever where you can customize the size of your dong. It's not that. This is a game for all ages, but
because Nintendo's cowardly.
Nintendo's cowardly.
Let us customize Mario's dong, Nintendo.
Show me Mario's dick already.
We've seen his nips. We're halfway there.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I'm an angry gamer. I deserve to see Mario's cock.
It's the next game is Wario's going to invent some kind of like magical spell that forces Mario to just like expose himself to Princess Toadstool, and then the whole rest of the game is him trying to apologize.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
Yes, I have invented a new spell that will make Mario have to expose himself.
And everybody's just like, Wario, why? Why, Wario?
It's because I wanted to see it. Secretly, I wanted to see it the whole time.
We're just glad you can admit it, Wario. We accept you for who you are.
What's it like mine, but it points the other way. Wow.
I wanted to compare.
Do you think their dicks have little mustaches on them?
Absolutely.
Little mustaches and hats.
Yeah, Wario's points down and the head of it's real dark purple.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be Waluigi?
I think isn't Wario's nose like purpley pink too?
That's true. It's going. No, that's right. Waluigi's would just be all like fucked up and crooked.
Just be like go forward and then take a hard 90-degree turn to the right.
Yeah. It would be like a zigzag.
Yeah, like
say almost corkscrew like a duck's.
Like a really skinny zigzag. All right. Well, anyway, Paper Mario and the Origami King, my number one game of 2020. And I would recommend everyone to give it a shot. It's a really charming game.
Nintendo makes some quality games, but as a company, they're kind of dog shit. Fuck you.
I'm the odd man out. So you guys are both Nintendo guys.
I didn't want to be, and I was like really surprised. But like, it's just like it's the perfect little mobile game. It does, you whip it out, you play. They're 2-lap races. They're super short. Just great.
But my favorite, it's technically a mobile game, but I'm playing it on my computer. The Balloons Tower Defense 6. It's that the monkey balloon tower defense game. It's really good. You should play it on your. You should get on your phone. It's really good. No, seriously, you should really. It's really good. Like it's very.
I'm just surprised none of us are playing Among Us.
I don't have enough. I don't think there's enough people. Like I think if you don't have at least like 5 people or 8 people, it's not worth playing.
You can play with just random people. I mean,
well, I don't want to play with those weirdos.
Yeah, I played one. I got it on my phone. It's free on your phone. I got it on my phone, and I played a couple rounds, and I was like, "This is all right, I guess."
What happens to me since I watch so much Twitch is like certain games that look kind of cool, but I know I wouldn't play very much. I would maybe play for a month and then stop playing. I just get that out of my system watching people play it on Twitch, and people or they're still playing. Like it's ridiculous how crazy. It's like fuck you, Fall Guys. No one cares anymore. We're all playing Among Us now.
Fall Guys has kind of died, hasn't it?
I think it's died, I think, on the creator content side of things. I think it's still got a lot of people playing it, but no one's streaming it or making videos on it or anything anymore. Yeah. I think there was just much more they could work with Among Us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is weird because it had been out before Fall Guys came out. It was around for a few years. Just kind of someone streamed it and boom, and just went crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Northern Lion, he did like a partnership deal with Fall Guys where they had like him curate his own show, like pick the games that he wanted to be played. And he did one video where he played on his own show, and that was the last video he ever did for Fall Guys. He was like, "Okay, you did my own show. Now I quit." And now all he does is stream chess.
Is there a big chess streaming following?
Yeah, chess has exploded in streaming this year.
Oh, there was some drama too around that too, actually.
Chess drama.
What was it? There's these 2 girls, sisters, Botes. They're like Polish or I don't know. There's some Eastern European descent, and they live in New York, and they had really high viewer counts, but they never put there's like tags, right, for every time you're playing something, like the name of the game or just chatting. Or chess if you're playing chess, but they never put it under chess. They would always put it under just chatting because they would get more views that way. And there's some like Asian, I don't know if he's a great grandmaster or like he's like on some pro, like there's an esports team now for chess, which is weird. And he's on it, but he was like really bitching and moaning about the fact that they weren't labeling it as chess.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah. But no one like those girls have like their 15 minutes is come and gone. You know, no one, they're around, but they're not nearly as popular as they were before. There's a lot of interesting dynamics when you watch Twitch for a really long time.
Were they any good at chess?
I know. I didn't really watch them. I watched them like because everyone was talking about them and they were showing up on other people's channels. But the new one, there's 2 people to keep an eye out on. This guy named Sushi Dragon, who I think is the most innovative, unique streamer I've ever seen. Like his whole thing is he started off at a basement with a green screen, like he painted the whole half the basement green, and he had this like computer on his back, and he had all these like little like buttons and stuff, and he would do like real time green screen effects and like almost like a Tim and Eric kind of thing. And like real trippy and psychedelic, but now he has a warehouse and he's got like drones and like those like hoverboards, like one that follows him around. He's like doing all this really cool like stuff I've never seen anyone do. He's like has hollow glasses on so he can see the stream at all times. And then there's this girl, I forget her name. I just started watching her, but she's like a programmer, and she's made like. Do you guys know what HoloLive is? It's kind of a new thing that's coming over.
Oh yeah. I know about HoloLive. Yeah,
it's like people will track their movement onto a 3D anime character and use that instead of. So it's like HoloLive.
The ultimate weeaboo shit.
This is like the next step. She's programmed it all of herself in Unreal, and it's like a 3D. It looks kind of like the same kind of look as Battle Angel Alita in the movie, like so realistic. But it like she's got a full body tracksuit, so it tracks accelerometers on the whole bodysuit, and it tracks her facial movements. But she does like these weird interviews. But she's got all these tips on her screen that do really weird shit, like make her head bigger. Like there's a clip out there where she let chat control the proportions of the body, and like her head got really big and her tits got gigantic all of a sudden.
Naturally.
Of course.
It's really interesting though. Like she's programmed it all herself, which is really impressive. Like she's done all this work. I wish I could remember her name, but I've been she's going to take off soon, like big time, because she's starting to interview. It's kind of like Space Ghost style, where like it shows her perspective, then it cuts like behind her, and there's like a TV screen, and that's where the other people are. All these kind of bigger name streamers. Have you heard of Hassan? He's like this like real like kind of Bernie bro political commentary.
Oh yeah. He's on the Hun. Yeah.
This Saturday she's interviewing him, so like that's really gonna like she's gonna get popular. So it's interesting to see these people kind of like rise through the ranks and see if they can maintain it up here before everyone just doesn't care anymore.
yeah. It's a fickle mistress, streaming fame. But yeah, no, I have heard of that sort of stuff, and I think that stuff's going to become more and more like everywhere. It's just going to start proliferating all over the place.
I'm curious to see what it turns into. I think people are going to get bored of just like the anime girls after a while, at least like the main kind of like Twitch viewership. But if but it's got the potential to turn into some really weird stuff. So
that's exactly what I was gonna say. It's gonna get weird, man. It's gonna get real weird. The porn industry is gonna really latch onto it. Let me tell you.
Well, they've already done it.
Yeah.
One of the most famous HoloLive girls, I don't remember her name either. Jesus. But she's on Chatterbait. Like she'll stream on Twitch, and then she'll go and her model's like completely nude, and it's a full bodysuit, and she just does her normal cam show, but as her HoloLive character.
Sam, if you'd like to send me a link to that after we're done here.
I don't remember her name. I don't remember
for research purposes.
You can find it out
for research.
I'm sure there's more now, but it's really interesting to watch like these trends and stuff in Twitch, and then like weird stuff start to happen, and like. And who can maintain the popularity and who like just fizzles away, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I thought of something else that I wanted to talk with you guys about before we wrap it up today.
We have to talk about Monster Hunter, but I guess you haven't seen the trailer, so it doesn't matter. Andy, sorry, what were you saying?
there was a brand new book that came out not too long ago, a sequel to the smash hit Ready Player One, and of course I'm talking about Ready Player Two. I read that thing, and boy, is it a stinker.
I heard that it's like basically the same book is what I've heard. Like he didn't really do anything like a cash-in.
Yes and no. So like the first book is extremely dumb, but there's something like compelling or interesting or satisfying about it because it's like, oh, he's playing through all your favorite games and movies from the 80s. Isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically the whole thing. I mean, there's barely a plot. It's mostly just like him bouncing from like, now he's in Zork. Now he's in an arcade game. Now he's in the movie War Games. It's like, oh, okay, that's fun. Like, I like all that kind of stuff. You know, I grew up in the 90s and, you know, watched Ghostbusters and, you know, I love all those old games and stuff. And then, but this book, so like, the whole idea with Ready Player One is like there was this arch nerd named James Halliday, and he was so nerdy that he made the ultimate nerd game, the Oasis, and he put all his nerdy fantasies into it. And so that's what it's about. It's just about this one guy and his obsession with the 80s. And then the book two is like, it's as if like the author Ernest Cline like got a memo from his publisher that was like, weird men who are nerds are problematic. So we need this one to be about women of color. So
like a forced progressive narrative.
Yeah. So it turns out that like, you know, there was this girl, Kira, that James Halliday had a crush on, but she married his best friend instead. And so this second book is about how like James Halliday like made a brain scan of her without her permission to like put her into the Oasis. And then like that got split up into 7 parts, and now they have to find the 7 parts of her to put her back together for very convoluted reasons. But then it's just all about the stuff that she liked. So like there's an entire world that goes on for like 50 pages that's all about Prince. Just Prince, his music and like movies that he made and like stuff he was famous for. And I got to tell you, I do not give a shit about Prince. I know that a lot of people love him, but like I was like, what are we doing here? What is the point of this? Get back to the video games. Why are we talking about Prince? There's another whole one that's just all about John Hughes. And it's like, okay, I like Home Alone, but like it's just like, we got to talk about 16 Candles. We got to talk about Pretty in Pink. It just goes on and on and on and on. And the whole time I'm like, when are we going to get to the video games? I want this to be about video games again. So that's it in a nutshell. It's like you want it to be one way, but it's not. And the way it was before wasn't even that good anyway. So
I was
very,
going to
very
say,
time like specific. Like when that book came out, it was at the height of like everyone was all about nostalgia. Like I feel like that's kind of died down a little bit. I feel personally. Like it was like a mania at the time, and it was like this is like the fentanyl of retro stuff, and it was great. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird that he would go. I don't know much about the guy other than that book, the first book, but
he's only written 3 books.
It feels like that shouldn't have been a sequel to this. To Ready Player One. It feels like that's almost fine as a concept, but like make that a new series or something, or a different book, like
or like a character who gets like maybe like it's like fast forward and it's a new character who gets she gets the key like the main character did before, but she gets to create her own worlds, and it's her creating her own worlds new or something. Not like it just what bothers me mostly, it seems like he's just kind of like, let me just shove this into almost the end, like half of the last book, and like and let me do it real half-ass, kind of lazy, and like, oh yeah, Prince was pretty cool when I was younger. I liked Prince. I don't have to do much research on Prince. Let me just like write about Prince for a little bit. I just watched Home Alone last night. Let me just write about Home Alone and John Hughes.
Yeah, let me go ahead and put John Hughes in here. Did you know though that John Hughes stole the idea from Home Alone from a French movie?
Oh, did he? Le Home Alone?
Yeah, well, me and my brother watched it on Joe Bob Briggs's Christmas Drive-In special that he did on Shudder, and it's called like it's got a really weird name. It's like Code 3115 Père Noël, something like that, because it had to do with like terminals in French malls at the time where you could like dial into message boards.
Oh, okay.
But it's about like Père Noël, the French Santa Claus, and like a guy at a department store who like has a job dressing up like Père Noël, and he gets fired because he's being too creepy with the kids. And so he decides to go to the home of the lady that owns the department store, where her son and the grandpa are at home by themselves. And he breaks into the house and like kills the dog and starts terrorizing them. And like most French movies, French movies, it gets real fucked up. Like it starts off like, oh, fun, haha, they're using toys to try and defeat the guy. And then it gets super dark at the end. But there's a lot of parallels. Like, and John
you can
Hughes,
spoil it. I'm not worried about the spoilers.
Well, it's just that like, it's not really what happens, but more so on like the tone of it and how it's shot, like lots of slow motion, and like the kid getting really emotional and freaking out and crying, and like the grandpa being in mortal peril all the time. And then like at the end, like the grandpa like shoots Père Noël guy and kills him. And then like the mom and the boyfriend arrive home just in time, and they find the kid, and he's got like this like blank, like, 1,000-mile stare on his face. Like and they're like, it's okay now. It's okay now. And he's like, Santa Claus is dead. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. Dude, and then like they roll credits.
Remember you guys seen Time Bandits?
No, I never saw that.
Oh, no, I want to, but I have not seen it.
That movie is so terrifying for a kid. Like the whole, like, if you hadn't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for the end, but like, think of when you watch it soon, and think about this. When you see the end of the movie, think about the fact that when I was in first grade, I was on a road trip with my mom, and we went to a hotel, and everyone fell asleep, and Time Bandits came on. I was still awake, and I was watching it. And right when the credits roll, my mom woke up and turned the movie off and said, "Go to sleep." Now, remember what I said. Check the tapes if you need to before you watch it, and then you'll see why that's such a freaking horrifying thing to happen to me when I was a kid.
Okay.
Okay, I'm interested now.
We'll watch Time Bandits. Sam, you will watch the Monster Hunter trailer.
I've seen the trailer. It looks like garbage. I still want to see it, though. I still really want to see it. There's a cross event in the game where you actually play as Mia Jovovich and fight the two monsters from the trailer, and you can unlock they call it layered armor. That's kind of like, it doesn't have stats, but you can look like her whenever you want and play as her in the game.
Wait, so Mila Jovovich is in the Monster Hunter movie?
Oh, this is like Resident Evil style Monster Hunter.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the big hubbub that went down? Like are we talking about that? The Chinese knees thing? Were we talking about that?
Chinese knees?
Did you hear about? Oh, so there's a line in the movie. Apparently, like some guy says some weird line. It's so weird. It's like, you know what the kind of knees I got? I got Chinese knees, right? And then China lost its shit. They like boycotted the movie to the studio had to apologize because it's like it's real close to like what's the old like, you know, schoolyard thing, Chinese, Japanese,
dirty
right?
knees. Yeah.
It was so bad that the Steam got review bombed, like the Monster Hunter game got review bombed by Chinese people because they were so mad about the line. But the funny part is that the Chinese censors just changed the subtitles and didn't even take it out of the scene. Like he says it, like they didn't take the scene out. He still says it in the Chinese when they just said something else in the subtitles.
Is the movie out?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I saw a trailer for it online and I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. And I didn't even like watch it or anything.
Movies don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because of COVID. I mean, that's why I'm so excited about the Warner Brothers. All the movies that were going to be released in theaters next year are coming out on HBO Max for free the same day. So if you have HBO Max, any Warner Brothers movie, Suicide Squad 2, other movies will come out. Wonder Woman, yeah, that's the first one. Comes out on Christmas. If you have a sub to HBO Max, you get that for free and get to watch it forever. And studios were mad. Like the people who make the movies and then it's distributed by Warner, they were kind of like, wait a minute. What are you doing? And the guy made Tenet.
Christopher Nolan.
He flipped out too. He was like, "You're ruining the industry and all this crazy shit." Man. It's kind of a gamble. Like, it's kind of a big deal. I'm excited to see how it works out, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the real question. Is like, is this going to change movies and theaters and everything forever? Is this a temporary like diversion from what we had, and we're going to go back to it? Like, is going to be probably wind up being some amalgamation of the both. Like, we're going to have some movies that come out in theaters. A lot of them come out, you know, streaming, since everybody's got their own streaming service now. And it's interesting.
Well, we'll find out in 2021. What do you say we wrap it up here for today, fellas?
I think we did it.
It is the end of an era, the end of a year, the end of an episode of Doom, and the end of the original Doom. But we'll be back in a week's time with the first part of episode 4, Thy Flesh Consumed. So please look for that in your podcast feeds very soon. Sam, what advice would you offer our listeners today?
Don't let your young children watch Time Bandits. And especially don't make them go to bed in a strange place right after it finishes.
Okay, interesting. I'm going to see the movie, and hopefully that will make more sense to me soon enough.
Try and watch it soon. Just watch it as soon as you can. So we can.
I'm going to watch it and then go right to bed.
Yeah.
And Aaron, what do you want to say to the folks at home today?
I want to say thank you, everybody, for listening. Please go to onestageatatime.com for more of our episodes and links to all of our things. Follow us on social medias. Please share and like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And you know what? Merry Christmas to everybody. And please save and continue.